against social media bill and all of that. And of course, those ones have been stamped down, and everybody is still free to do whatever they like. You can insult anybody on social media, and
but shouldn't the professional media practitioners, come up with a bill, because it is in the interest of the media?
I said it has watered down professionalism.
That's
How
what
I mean?
Yeah.
Because you find a situation where even the so-called professional media now rely on social media as a source of information, according to its official X handle. You understand? You can imagine a report being presented in that manner, according to its official X handle. What is happening to you visiting the person and getting live information directly?
If a minister...
What if somebody had hacked the X handle and put something there? You now see the new conventional media will report the story, and somebody will deny it, that no, that is not coming from us. So these are things that's happening, and that's why the so-called fourth estate saying is no longer as pronounced as we used to have it. And it's not peculiar to Nigeria, it's a global thing.
It's a global thing. All right, now to the Nation newspaper. Okay, CBN raises minimum capital requirement for banks. And Tinubu appoints Usman Bello as new CCB chairman. Hoodlums attack council headquarters, bomb police station in Anambra. And this is of interest to practitioners. How abducted first news editor was released. Court grants 50 million bail to Bayelsa senator over alleged NYSC certificate forgery. APC nomination forms, 10 aspirants buy Ondo APC governorship nomination form. And Bobrisky, he says, why I became a transgender. She was nominated and hailed as the best dressed female at a particular event a few days ago, and that became the backlash was heavy. Okay. Weekend to Abuja residents, Tinubu has given me tremendous support to perform. Okay. And NG condemns NIA abduction of Olatunji, says it's an attack on the media, of course. Injury to one is injury to all. Yes, I think we'll go to the talking points. Now, you can join the conversation as we go down to the talking points on Almond Headliners today, Friday, 29th of March, year 2024. Apparently, the very first story we're going to be taking is the one that has to do with the increment in the capital base of Nigerian banks. I think tier 1. So let's take the body of that story. CBN raises capital base for mega banks to 500 billion naira. This story says barely 48 hours after restating the need to increase the capital base of deposit money banks for improved productivity, the Central Bank of Nigeria has announced new guidelines on its recapitalization policy for banks in the country. The new guidelines were disclosed in a statement signed by its acting director of corporate communications, Sidi Ali, in Abuja on Thursday. She said the Apex Bank had directed commercial banks with international authorization to increase their capital base to 500 billion and national banks to 200 billion. According to the acting CBN director, commercial banks with national licenses must meet a 200 billion threshold, while those with regional authorizations are expected to achieve a 50 billion capital floor. Similarly, non-interest banks with national and regional authorizations will need to increase their capital to 20 billion and 10 billion respectively. The CBN's move came 2 days after the Monetary Policy Committee hinted that it will change the capital base of the nation's banks. At the press briefing that followed the 294th MPC meeting on Tuesday, the CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso urged the deposit money banks to expedite action to increase their capital base to strengthen the financial system against potential risks. Cardoso said the MPC also reviewed developments in the banking system and noted that the industry remains safe, sound, and stable. The committee thus called on the bank to sustain its surveillance and ensure compliance of banks with existing regulatory and macro-potential guidelines. Yes. What are your thoughts on that? And the timeline given, the variation and the timeline.
It's been long due, sincerely.
How do you say so?
2005 to date, it's about 20 years.
Yeah, what was the capital base there?
25 billion then. And in 20 years, risen from 25 billion, considering the way and manner our economy has metamorphosed, as well as bastardized by various government and, of course, private sector activities. We are due for such recapitalization. And it's a welcome development. It has its own advantages.
Okay, so what are the advantages that we may expect
the banks
to the economy?
The banks will be better strengthened. We've had, even despite the capitalization of 2005, we've had series of banks folding up. Even after you have all manner of hanky-pankies going on within the banking sectors. Some so-called strong banks suddenly disappeared. Oceanic, Intercontinental,
and they were swallowed up by smaller banks.
You understand, and you begin to wonder what's actually going on. And so these are things. It's going to.
How does a rat swallow a cat?
It will streamline the activities, make them stronger. Customers' deposits will be better secured, and of course, it's an indirect way of mopping up excess liquidity in the hands of private people, because
they will invest.
They will have to invest this money now,
so using it for liquidity.
Yeah, and that it brings it back to the banking, to the official, making official proper use of this money. And of course, our institution or banking sector will now be better recognized. Investors will trust them more. So these are
solid base.
Yeah, so these are some of the things that I see, and of course, we are beginning to have the proliferation of banks the way we had before the initial recapitalization again. So that would a little bit, put a check on that, because everybody wants to set up a bank now, but for whatever motive, and you even find some of the newly set up bank either not spreading or already distressed.
Well, they have various levels of licenses, regional banks, national banks.
There are some that they came, swallowed big banks, thinking that, I don't want to mention him, but there's one with a capital letter H, which, just came suddenly then with a very big swap, took up an asset of one of the big distressed bank. Then we thought it has been capitalized, and of course we begin to have efficiency, and up till date you have some of their assets unused. And
but the track record of
the one with the stallion at the logo was said to have been taken over. Up till now, the said bank that took it over is yet to do anything. They've not even changed signatures. So these are things that we're talking about. Now, you want to come into the sector, you must be a serious-minded person.
And how would that?
And a year period is more than enough.
And I think 2 years.
No, it's
a year.
I think it's a year. 2025.
Yeah. So we have
March 31st, 2024.
So now, how does that affect access to credit by manufacturers? Because when we're talking about everything is about production, because it's about production that will strengthen our economy. When production is revved up, of course, employment will be generated, GDP, and all of that. How will that affect when you have this strong capital base?
It will guarantee, but that is not the main thing that is affecting access to credit by manufacturer. It has always been the MPR, which the CBN fixes. For instance, in the past 2 months, it has gone up by 6%, from 18 to 24 now.
Yeah,
you're pushing them back.
Yeah,
because
cost of money.
And they have other obligations in terms of tax, sales, cost of energy, and the rest of them.
Inputs
that they have to deal with. So they are struggling. So that is why I'm saying that you can't just limit it to that. They've always had capital to assess. But what is pushing them back is the MPR. And until we begin to look in that direction, why would a single digit be impossible? It shouldn't be. The highest UK has ever had is 6%.
And you see, I remember during the what do you call him, the former CBN governor, when the Naira redesign, we were optimistic that the Naira redesign was going to deal with inflation, where you get all the liquidity that was not in the banking system into the banking system, but tragically, because it is that bad, tragically, rather than those lofty ideals being implemented, we saw that there was a sub-agenda which was political, and that failed. Now, because we know that increasing MPR is that is standard global instrument, but in Nigeria it's not working, because the liquidity, it is when you have money in official banking thing that you can regulate. We cannot regulate what is outside of it. Definitely. So why do they continue to deploy this standard instrument to tame inflation when they know that the Nigerian situation is peculiar and different from what obtained globally?
Because if you look at it, it's actually targeted at aggregate demand, which has gone up. Now,
aggregate demand for
goods and services.
Okay.
And it's usually followed by inflation. When the demand goes up, price follow.
Okay.
And when it's persistent, it becomes inflation. And the major thing used to bring that down is to raise the MPR.
In this Nigerian circumstance, what demand is going up? Demand for what?
In the Nigerian circumstance, I said aggregate.
Mm-hmm.
Aggregate is the overall. Now, it's two things. It's either few people are buying in bulk, mm-hmm, or a lot of people are buying in smaller units.
Mm-hmm.
But in the case of Nigeria, the former, mm-hmm, is what is happening.
Few are
buying in bulk.
Buying what?
Goods. For instance, why is the price of rice, a bag of rice, going up? Because people are buying. Government contractors who want to distribute palliative are going to the same market you and I will go to mop up what is there. So that bulk buy.
But people in the market are contractors dollar
who are handling constructions are buying cement
in bulk,
and the price keep going up. So
what happened to production? Don't we have enough production of cement, for instance?
We do not have
capacity
yet, because somehow some people have taken over that sector and they are blocking others from entering into it.
What about licenses that have been issued to people?
Licenses is to issue license, another thing. Operation, for instance, is another thing. These are people connected to virtually all the states where you have access to. You can set up, there's what we call location of industry and localization of it. Now, industry is best located close to the
raw materials.
The raw materials. Now, a good number of resources of the raw materials required for this product have been dominated by
already
the major players. So they have two options: either they go in there with fiat to compete with them, or they import to compete. And now there's an heavy discouragement because of the backward integration policy of past governments against imports, and that is why these people have become a cabal dictating to the government. You can imagine something rose from 4,000 to almost 12,000, and you now met and say you put it down at 8,000. Why not the 4,000 that it was before? Because there was no reason for that increase other than what? And they later declared profit of over 70 billion within that short period. This is what will happen. But who are those encouraging it? Those who are going to buy it in bulk at that high inflated prices. So that is why you have that situation, and the only way the CBN can do is to respond in that manner. Of course, the masses will be affected either way. When those ones are buying in bulk, they are pushing the price up, we're affected.
Demand and supply.
You understand? And when now the CBN is going to raise the MPR to discourage the borrowing and access to capital so that they will it's also going to. So, but in the long run, when the thing comes down, we will be benefiting from it. Like in the next couple of weeks, it's being asked if the projection continues, price will begin to drop. I cannot say at which rate. That's why you are seeing speculated dropping of some products that are being denied now, because they are looking at the trend that yes, this thing would definitely lead to it, because those who are holding on to this each capital will have two choices: either hold on to it and lose the value, or quickly dispense of it. Those are things that would happen if the trend continues. But Nigerian problem has brain of its own, because there are people behind it, and they are also thinking of a way.
It has a life of its own.
Every effort at improving the power situation has always been.
We'll come to that. Now, since we're talking about money, for the financial sector, now let's link all of this to, I will say, the appreciation trend of the naira against the US dollar in the past 1 week or thereabout. What is responsible for it? And my big question is this: sustainability.
It will be sustainable because
what is responsible for it?
The regulations.
Regulation and enforcement by CBN.
Yeah, the regulation.
But these rules, look, CBN didn't formulate rules recently. They are just simply, so that means
there are some measures that are new. Like the recapitalization of the BDC is a new one.
Yeah.
And of course,
they will throw quite a number of them out of business.
Of course, the condition to licensing too has also been modified. So that has pruned down the numbers from about 4,000 plus or 1,000 plus. And now these are 1,000 serious-minded people
that can be managed.
You cannot use vendors again. So if you still go to any Sabo community and you are seeing people winking at you, they can be arrested at any time. So it is in your own interest not to deal with them. Go into their offices if they have one and do your transaction. Now they are being empowered and encouraged to do exactly as the commercial bank would do. They can issue BTAs, BPAs and whatever formally now without anybody asking any question. But they have to account, and that's why CBN is giving them allocation now.
$10,000.
$10,000. That'll be for a start, and also fixing
the
rates at which they must exchange. They are giving them the profit margin of about 50 naira.
They're expected to make returns.
You understand? You have to document everything.
Now that's the question. Those rules have been there. What about enforcement?
They are enforcing it. If you don't, you can't get the next batch of 10,000 if you don't have a document that will speak to exactly how you've used it.
And I'll now go to the issue of round tripping. But we know that round tripping simply means I'm a manufacturer. I go to my commercial bank. I demand $7 million US. That's what I need. The bank will say, okay, we are going to be demanding from CBN $10 million on your behalf. You take your 7, we take the 10, and then the 3 ends up in on the streets.
If you look at the current rates, you see that of the BDCs is coming down.
Yeah.
And that has discouraged. That's the way to check the round trip.
To check the banks.
Because most people, they know, go to the commercial bank, to the
Black
BDCs market to get their forex, and now you're turning down the price of the BDC. So there's no way you didn't. Round tripping has already been checked by virtue of that measure, and of course the CBN.
How many people know on the streets that this is the rate? People just go to Sabo. Or
the rate is not something. For instance, how many Nigerians deal with dollars?
Anyway, you
understand. So those who are dealing with it, they follow the rate. That's why they go about it. They follow the rate. So that's why we choose to either go to BDC or go to the commercial bank. So that's now. It is even a risk for you to now deposit in your Nigerian domiciliary account.
How do you mean?
The value can go away overnight. So it's better. They want you to not keep dollar as store of value. They want you to use it for economic purpose, which is the right thing. Do you know how many number of people that have changed their mind over this year's Hajj? Because government will not sponsor. There's no special window for subsidy, except for Kanu that is saying he will give 500,000 to each one now.
That's Kanu.
Whatever time he has to do that, because I see it as an audio promise, which is not realistic. But he may end up being in trouble for pronouncing that thing, because where will he get the money from? considering the number of people that go to Hajj in Kano every year. So those are things that has happened.
States have liquidity now. They can.
You can't use it like that. Opposition will choke your neck, and it's an opposition minority party state. Yeah, so that's the thing.
So now there is hope, if not assurance, of sustainability. That has been my major concern.
Because we have a serious-minded CBN governor now, who seems not to be as ambitious as the former one. Emefiele's ambition became his albatross. That was why he lost control. He did some things that made some people to hijack him, and they were remoting him. And that's why you see him
I
just
think you need
here and there.
You need the president's backing too.
Of course.
We are not seeing much of the fiscal side. We are seeing a lot happening in the monetary policy. And the two must go together in a synergy.
There's a thing. The reason why you are not seeing much of the fiscal side is because what the monetary is doing is in line with what the fiscal wants it to do. And of course, we need to fix it at that end.
Okay.
Before we begin to just compliment.
All right. Okay. So Nigerians, I know that the word has been out there for about a week and a half now that there's stability in prices, and that we may be looking forward to, further stability and maybe a nosedive.
Nigerians should just be hopeful, and because those who have been playing fast one, they are now being careful,
being checked.
No, they do themselves are being careful. They've gotten enough. It's time to stop. Any attempt to push further will land you in trouble. You will run at a loss, and you may lose whatever you have gained. So you need to be careful, and they are applying some senses to their own dealings too, and that is what is good for Nigerians.
All right, still Almond headliners on Almond 94.3 this Friday morning. We had to go deep into that because it is this issue of the economy and prices especially. And somebody told me, the one they call panel beta, he told me, he said, look, anything can happen in Nigeria. They don't mind. But when it touches on food prices, that is when the ordinary man can get angry and become unreasonable. And if in the course of...
well, the government have not been doing well. Some state government have just realized what they ought to have been doing. When situation like that arises, the best you can do is to subsidize the prices of food. That is the global practice. But you don't leave it and allow it to just go and check up. You are putting people
at risk,
and they will react. Now Ogun is trying to say 50% slash for a bag of rice. Well, it is not only rice that people will eat. Then, have you thought about it very well?
3,000 plus, I'm told, for a regular Congo, not specialized brands. So like when grains and all of that.
At least that's in a way. We begin to sense some panic because those rushing to buy the 70,000 will now take a pause. We're going to get 35,000 somewhere. Let's go and get. And once you buy it once and it's for your family consumption, and you have bought a bag, you cannot finish it in 1 month.
All right.
No matter the size of your family, you still have to. So that will reduce the traffic going to those who are taking advantage of the traffic to push up the thing, and they will have no other choice. These are what is it called now? Perishable items.
All right. Yes. You can join the conversation now because each and every one of us, either you are a resident of Nigeria or a Nigerian citizen, we are all stakeholders. You can join the conversation 0704 7000 943 0704 7000 943. The second number you can reach our studio this morning is 090 11 11 1943. I'll take that again. 090 11 11 1943. The second story, there are so many stories about the second story we're going to be taking. Is about Okwama. It's Okwama Defense Headquarters declares Delta Monarch militant leader 6 others wanted. And the story goes like this. The Defense Headquarters yesterday in Abuja declared wanted 8 persons over their roles in the recent killing of 17 military personnel in Okwama in Delta State. But human rights lawyer Femi Falana-San, in a swift reaction, said yesterday the military lacks power to declare anybody wanted. Those declared wanted are Professor Ekpekpu Arthur and Andawe Dennis Bari. Okay? But let me take that again. Declared wanted are Professor Ekpekpu Arthur, Andawe Dennis Baki, Akevru Daniel Omotegbo, aka Amagbe, Akata Malawa David, Sinclair Oliki, Clement Ikolo Ogene Yewa, Ruben Baru, and Igoli Ebi. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who released the list of those declared wanted at a briefing called on Nigerians, especially residents of Delta and adjoining states, to assist the military with credible information and intelligence that will lead to the arrest of the 8 persons allegedly responsible for the killing of these 17 military personnel. General Buba said the military remains determined to fish out perpetrators of the heinous act in Delta State, reaffirming its commitment to rescue all kidnapped and abducted victims in Nigeria. Your take.
Well, the last statement is what I will speak on. And to respond to the Leonard Silk,
Three issues there.
They are responding or carrying out the presidential order. I think that should have given them the jurisdiction to declare anybody wanted. And one of them has surrendered himself, the traditional ruler, to the authorities. And the others may follow suit. The essence of the declaration is for them to just bring themselves forth. If they are innocent, come and prove it. If you are hiding, that means you are guilty. And if you are hiding and you are captured, you have amplified the level of punishment that you would receive if you are surrendered yourself willingly. But the thing Nigerians are saying is this effort that you are putting up in Delta States, can you not replicate it in Kaduna, in Zamfara, in Niger, where banditries have been killing security personnel? Why are you flexing so much muscle in Delta State? If you can flex this muscle, you can also do better up north. Dispel this hypocrisy that you are displaying right now by balancing the equation. That is what Nigerians are saying. And that is what I'm also saying. I want to see commensurate efforts being put up in the north. And of course, take away the shame that insecurity is giving to our security agencies and our military institution once and for all. I know that the military is capable of dealing with banditry. And I am aware and know that whatever is slowing them down is as a result of politics and some economic undertone.
War is business, you know.
War is business, but you don't overdo it. You understand? And if it's going to be done, there must be some genuine reason. What would be the agenda or objective of the bandits? It's not spelled out. For instance, Hamas knows what they wanted. Israel knows what they wanted. And they are fighting themselves. Ukraine knows what they wanted. Russia knows what they wanted. They are fighting themselves. Their objectives are known to the whole world. What is the objective of the bandits? What agenda do they want to achieve?
It is business. You know,
that is criminality.
Yes, of course it is criminality.
Neutralize it once and for all. You cannot encourage that.
You know what is going on?
No government can. You can.
Gold is.
Can you have bandits?
Exploration of.
Can you have bandits in the US?
Exploration.
You can only have a situation of one idiot carrying gun to one super mall, but he will not survive that day. You understand? But you have an organized group of people. They will even display the ransom that they have collected on social media, calling the bluff of those who have paid the ransom. And
doesn't that tell us
and
that
those responsible do not see that as enough embarrassment to them? I don't understand certain things, though. I don't get it. You understand? I feel so emotional about it that these guys, you need to wake up. Are you okay? Don't you realize, see it from that angle, that you are embarrassing your institution? You should be ashamed of putting on your uniform. Are you saying those criminals are superior to you? That is what it means. How many are they? Are they up to the number of military that we have? Even if they are up to the number, are they as trained as our military?
No.
Do you understand? To the extent that you allow officers to just be killed like goats by these people. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You know, common sense of responsibility, patriotism should come in here.
Patriotism.
I am sounding like this because I know some of them are listening. Just sit down and think. If it's money you are making, have you not made enough?
That may be in short supply.
You understand? Have you not had enough money? Defense cannot be on the top of our budget for life. We need critical development. We need infrastructure. We need to put industries in those areas where these bandits are occupying. We need to put mechanized farms there. Get those criminals actively and productively engaged. Not just give them even the money they collected. How much of this money go to the foot soldiers that go to do the mass kidnap? And of course the leadership too. Are they not ashamed that your children are being kidnapped and you are using them for ransom? Now they say they have.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your name and location.
Speaking from Abuja.
Yeah. 2 minutes.
Good morning, my analyst in the house.
Good morning, bro.
2 minutes.
You are actually speaking. You are actually speaking with serious emotion, like the way I express it at times, and people just misunderstand me. For how long? For how long will this? I call it induced insecurity. My organ in the house, we still call it allegation. It's an induced one. People are benefiting from this thing.
I agree with you.
They are making millions and billions every year from this insecurity. For how long are we gonna be like this? Where is patriotism, for God's sake? Where is decency? Where is system? Where is structure? Where is it? How can soldiers be killed in the Niger Delta and there is no footage? How can people kidnap 200 and something students and there is no video? You can't see their face. How can you trace them? You are not sending military to the Niger Delta to be asking questions. Where we have CCTV technology, we have drone technology. Nobody
why are those troops, at least the leaders, unit commanders, not wearing body cams? Why are they not?
Thank you.
Why are our policemen not wearing body cams? Why are
you? That is what I call system. We don't have it. We just think we can just be fighting in the name of God and God will help us and things will just happen at this technological stage. We are just deceiving ourselves. These are induced insecurity because people are making money from it.
That's why I say war is business. Thank you very much for your contribution.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah. Yes, we now go to just in. Nationwide blackout looms as national grid suffers fresh collapse. Nigeria has yet again suffered another nationwide blackout as the national electricity grid, centrally managed from Oshogbo, Osun State, suffered a collapse at approximately 4:30 p.m. on Thursday, leaving millions of homes and businesses without power. This development marks the fourth time the grid is collapsing in the first 3 months of the year, adding to challenges that have long plagued Nigeria's power sector. According to reports from various distribution companies, those are the discos spanning the nation's 36 states, their feeders were rendered inactive, resulting in widespread blackouts across the country. The grid's output, which stood at 2,984 megawatts as of 4 p.m. on Thursday, plummeted to zero within the span of an hour, with all 21 plants connected to the grid ceasing operation by 5 p.m. This incident marks another setback for Nigeria's electricity sector, which has been marred by persistent issues despite privatization efforts aimed at revitalizing it. Over the past decade since privatization, the grid has experienced a staggering 141 collapses, underscoring the magnitude of the systemic challenges facing the industry. As of the time of reporting at 6 p.m., the Azura power plant was the sole facility contributing to the grid, albeit with a modest output of 54 megawatts. The major power generating plants, such as Egbe, Afam, Gegeru, Ibon Power, Jeba, Kainji, Udupani, and Oloroshogo, among others, remain dormant, further exacerbating the electricity deficit nationwide. Nigeria, 54 megawatts from 2000. Even 2009 and something is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous for a nation of 200 million people. I was reading somewhere yesterday that power, they sell at average of 74 naira per kilowatt. But when you use diesel, you are generating power at an average of 400 naira per kilowatt.
When you ask them why, the usual excuse, shortage of gas. That is why Olorunsogo, Geregu, Egbe, and all those places have been inactive, as to speak. There's even Kwakwalanto.
Yeah, that's Kwakwalanto.
That I don't even know if it's operating because there's no road to that place. So how do you even get gas supply there? You understand? Which has put us in this situation. You can imagine, I know where Olorunsogo is. Olorunsogo is along Ondo-Ore Road. No.
Okay, that's Olorunsogo. Okay.
You understand? How can you generate power there? And you first of all send it to Osogbo before it can be transmitted to the discos.
Because we do what they call radial transmission. I've asked, because this power issue, a retired general manager of NEPA told me, say, we do radial transmission.
Which is an aberration.
Well, when the military thought welding Nigeria together in the central structure.
And that is why I will never forgive all those who enacted Decree 34.
Professor Ben Wabuizi drafted that Decree 34 and he said he regretted it.
And when I saw people gathering to say they want to in his honor, how do you honor such a person?
He was one of the patriots before he died.
Patriots. But is that an act of patriotism?
Well, the man
collapsing the region because your brother is the new head of state, you want to dominate everybody. Look, people don't have foresight. They only think of the present situation, and that's what caused that problem. Now they not took over and maintain that structure till date. So they fortified it.
Consolidated.
You understand? These are certain mistakes, and that is now they are reaping the punishment, eternal punishment of that. And they are complaining. You can't complain for a problem you created.
But the big question is this North that we'll talk about. What has the North deployed all the resources to do?
They are also being punished by banditry now.
An army.
And that will continue. And that's why it was on another platform that I said I've lost sympathy for whatever charade that goes on in the name of kidnap there. And that's why they are using their state resources to fund it and also to promote it. When they are ready to stop, they will stop. They think they are embarrassing Nigeria.
So,
but the thing is not to veer too much away from the core issue. This situation will continue. I'm not prophesying doom. I'm saying the reality and the fact. Until we begin to set up alternative grid system.
But there is a law to that effect. We can do it. Why people?
The law is just passed last year. It's even less than a year old.
Yeah.
So
just the trial
until state governments.
Why must it be state government?
Because
state governments passed the necessary bill.
You understand?
I think Oyo did.
So until they begin to set up, because it's going to be easier for them.
Power was generated from Eleyele with coal.
Where is it? Where is it now? Now, until they begin to do that and set up alternative grid so that national one will just be a reserve that you fall back on
I imagine.
That is what it's meant to be.
Hello. There's a feedback from you. Good morning, sir.
Nice meeting you.
Our pleasure.
I greet everybody. You see, it's not unfortunate. The power sector, I don't know how we get out of this problem. Every now and then, our leaders, the ministers, from Bolagi to present, 1999 to present, have not gotten it right. Nobody. Just because of the corruption in the power sector, we lost about $11 trillion on corruption in the power sector. And we keep complaining. We cannot continue to lay blames on others for their own inefficiency, for the corruption in the system. We have wasted for what we are supposed to just time to now. For us to you have time to Buhari. Now we are in another regime. We keep complaining. Without power, you cannot industrialize. You cannot grow. One nation grows without power. And I don't know. This should stop. This blame game. Whatever they want to do to ensure that we have stable power, they should do it. The great collapse should not be an excuse for anybody. And on the army, you see, we have lost great men in this country because of lack of intelligent gathering. The army, the DSS, the police, every sector must be involved in intelligence sharing. The failure of intelligence costs the death of our army, our soldiers, gallant people. But at the same time, while we are mourning them, we should not allow innocent people to suffer. Clearing everybody because of that innocent crime will be wrong. Because the innocent, the children, the elderly, the women will have lost their lives. Let the army please withdraw and let the DSS do their job. Let them go to the areas and do their job.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Layola. Have a Baraka Jumba to you. Yes. We'll take this final story. It says 23-year-old acquitted of rape after 2 years in jail. Because that goes down to our justice system. And in each society where justice is not functional. It says Justice Abiola Sholadoye of Ikeja Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court on Thursday discharged an acquitted 23-year-old Victory Tassi, accused of raping his 19-year-old girlfriend after spending 2 years in prison. The judge discharged and acquitted Tassi when she ruled on a no-case submission filed by the defendant through his counsel, Mrs. Rukayat, who will be dated 19th March. Justice Sholadoye held that the prosecution failed to discharge the burden of proof of defilement against Tassi. She held that the witness, alleged survivor, that is the girlfriend, called by the prosecution, had revealed to the court in her testimony that Tassi was her boyfriend and that he did not rape her.
The issue of rape or no rape, especially when it comes to lovers in court, has always been difficult to establish.
Well, but the process is a big problem. 2 years in.
I'm saying that I'm going to go there. That we put too much energy in political cases and corruption cases because our lawyers make a lot of money from those cases.
Because the consequences